Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Reading from Srimad-Bhagavatam, 6th canto, chapter 2, in the matter of Ajamila, delivered by the Vishnu Dutas, text 39. Iti jata sunirvedah kanasangena sadhushu Gangadwaramupeyaya mukta sarvanu bandhana. Translation and purport by Divine Gadesi Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Translation. Because of a moment's association with devotees, the Vishnu Dutas, Ajamila detached himself from the material conception of life with determination. Thus freed from all material attraction, he immediately started for Advar. Purport by Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Purport. The word Mukta Sarva Anubandhana indicates that after this incident, Ajamila, not caring for his wife and children, went straight to Advar for further advancement in his spiritual life. Our Krishna consciousness movement now has centers in Vrindavan and Navadvipa, so that those who want to live a retired life, whether they be devotees or not, can go there and with determination give up the bodily concept of life. One is welcome to live in those holy places for the rest of his life in order to achieve the highest success by the very simple method of chanting the holy name of the Lord and taking prasada. Thus, one may return home back to God. We do not have a center in Ardwar, but Vrindavan and Sridham Mayapur are better for devotees than other places. The Chaitanya Chandrodaya temple offers one a good opportunity to associate with devotees. Let us all take advantage of this opportunity. I'll just read the next verse, a small verse. For myself, Satasmin Deva Sadana Asino Yogamastita Pratyarithindriya Gramaha Yuyoja Manatmani. In Ardwar, Ajamila took shelter at a Vishnu temple where he executed the process of Bhakti Yoga. He controlled his senses and fully applied his mind in the service of the Lord. Purport by Srila Prabhupada. The devotees who have joined the Krishna consciousness movement may live comfortably in our many temples and engage in the devotional service of the Lord. Thus they can control the mind and senses and achieve the highest success in life. This is the process descending from time immemorial. Learning from the life of Ajamila, we should vow with determination to do what is necessary to follow this path. Thus in the Bhaktivedanta purport. So we are reading in this chapter Ajamila delivered by the Vishnu Dutas. So we read so far how Ajamila was young Brahmana. He fell down from his Brahmanical standard, got married to a prostitute, and he started committing a lot of sinful activities. And in the last few verses we saw how because of the association, the same thing is continuing with the Yamadutas. When he heard the conversation between the Yamadutas and the Vishnu Dutas, actually by that association, just by hearing that, he himself says, I became purified. I have become a pure devotee, like that in the earlier verses we saw. So last verse what we read here, it is mentioned, simply because I chanted the holy name of the Lord in the association of devotees, my heart is now becoming purified. So when we chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, we are all getting purified, knowingly, unknowingly actually. Chetho Darpana Marjanam, correct? Therefore, I shall not fall victim again in the false lures of material sense gratification. See, he is now taking a vow. He is very determined. I shall not fall again in the false lures of material sense gratification. Now that I have become fixed in absolute truth, henceforward I shall not identify myself with the body I shall give up false conception of I and mine and fix my mind on the lotus feet of Krishna. So, now, in continuation to that verse only, today's verse also, because of that moment's association with devotees, the Vishnu Dutas, Ajamila detached from the material conception of life, like we heard earlier also. This material conception of life, this body concept of life, bodily concept of life, that is what is dragging us in this material world. Life after life, we are going for that sense gratification, and we are getting entangled again and again. So here it is said, detached from the material conception of life with determination. That also we read in the earlier verse. So this determination is very important. Prabhupada in today's purport also he writes there with vow and determination. So the determination is very important in spiritual life. Thus freed from all material attraction, he immediately started for Haridwar. So once you get the spiritual knowledge, you don't want to again get into the same bodily concept, thinking that I am this body and anybody related with me, I and mine, aham mameti. You want to give up this, and because we are all spirit soul, we are all part and parcel of God. So our real duty, what is our real duty? Is to actually serve the Lord. Jivere Surupoi, Krishnera Nityada. So it all starts with actually Shraddha, little faith. All of us have some faith. So spiritual life begins with some faith. Initially it is Komala Shraddha. Our faith is not strong. That's why we have to associate, read Srila Prabhupada books, attend the morning sadhana program. So by doing all these things what Srila Prabhupada has given, actually our faith will become firm. It is a firm faith. Okay? It will become a conviction actually. So that is important because see, just like devotees when they join the ashram, correct? It's not an ordinary call actually. Just imagine, lives after lives we are going on, enjoying the senses. Suddenly at the age of 20, 25, you somehow come in touch with Srila Prabhupada's movement, the Hare Krishna movement, and you associate with devotees. You start, they will tell you, start chanting and read Srila Prabhupada book. Actually, there is some force working actually. It's not a simple thing. People, when they become very old also, it is very difficult to give their family connection like that. In fact, Prabhupada humorously says, correct? Just like when I got couple of times dream that my spiritual master told me to take sannyas. I was also thinking how he'll take sannyas. Like that Prabhupada is saying. Because how to cut the family relationship or friends, relatives, it's not an easy thing. But when we come in touch with the association of a devotee with little faith, actually there is some strong force, spiritual force is working. That's why before joining, we all go home and convey this message to our parents, correct? Earlier we were not doing all those things. No, it's very systematic. Because then we came to know we were landing up in trouble actually. The parents will come and all this thing used to happen. So, when you go alone and you have to convince your father, parents. Actually, they are our well-wisher. They are taken so much trouble, austerity to bring us up, give us nice shelter, education, all these things. But they are concerned only with our material well-being. Somehow when we come in touch with the spiritual association, suddenly a bhakta who is practicing for maybe 6 months, 1 year also, we hear many times here, correct? They are very strong actually in their determination. They go and tell, no, sarva dharman paritajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Correct? This he always come across this. Krishna says, abandon all varieties of religion, just surrender unto me. I remember when I joined, I was also very young, and a devotee joined just around my time only. And I was asked to go to his house because he had not met personally and conveyed that I had joined. So somewhere in North India, we had gone. And before going itself, this devotee, actually he was giving me a lot of tips and guidance. You should be very careful. They will be alluring you. They will take care of us so nicely. They will give you nice prasada. So you should not be attached to all these things like that. So we went there, and as he said, because he knows his parents, they're taking very nice care of us. Early morning, 3:34, hot water is there because we are in North India during winter time. So the water is ready. Next, everything was taken care of by his mother actually. His father also, naturally they feel correct. Their son, they wanted them to be with their parents. Particularly, they start thinking, what will happen to me when I become old? Who will take care of me? All these issues are there. Correct? So, then his father, during the course of day, so this devotee nicely guided me how to go about. And his father will come and throw something. Where it is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita that you have to give up your parent, this, that, and surrender like that. So whatever little I know, we know actually we used to quote and we just used to. Then he'll not answer anything, he'll go away. After some time he'll again come. Yeah, they had a very big house. So we had a separate room and all. So like that this was going on. Then later on you see, both the father, mother, they also become nice devotees now. They are initiated also. So like they see this all starts with association. Ado Shraddha, you have that little phrase. And Ado Shraddha Tata Sadhu Sangha. So when we associate with devotee, we also get that it's a contagious disease, infectious disease actually. So when a devotee is fixed up, he is practicing, he is feeling so nice, he is determined. When we see all these things, we also get that inspiration. We also develop the enthusiasm to serve the mission of a pure devotee like Prabhupada. So just like we see now, the pandemic is going on, and the disease is so contagious actually. So moment we hear somebody is tested positive, we want to go and make sure we are safe, negative or positive, we also go and get tested. Because that is how it is. The disease, like earlier also TB, cholera, many diseases were contagious disease. So similarly, Prabhupada says here in the purport also that in one place Prabhupada says, yes, if I surrender to Krishna, all my spiritual life will be perfect. So we need not bother actually, who will take care of my parents. Of course, as an organization, there are plans and things are being worked out. It may take some time. But everybody will be taken care of. Why we have to bother so much? We get bugged by that, and we are not able to practice our devotional life. Because we should understand we all come alone. We are all going to go one day alone. That family bondage, friends, relation, all these things are there. We don't say no. But we should try to make them also devotee possible. So that is the thing. So Prabhupada says, we are opening many centers, temple, to create the little Shraddha. That's why Prabhupada here in today's purport he writes, our Krishna consciousness movement has now centers in Vrindavan and Navadvipa. Prabhupada is writing 50 years before this purport. So that those who want to live a retired life, whether they be devotee or not, even if you are not a devotee, Prabhupada is saying, can go there and with determination give up the bodily concept of life. So this is the process actually. And in the Bhagavatam there are many verses. It says, Kapila Dev's instruction to Mother Devotee, she says, who is a sadhu? Because we have to associate with sadhus. Because if you associate with non-devotee, then it is not going to help us actually. If you associate with materialist, karmis, non-devotee, it will not help. So, here it is mentioned that titikshava karnakai sudha sarvadehi nam. The symptoms of a sadhu are that he is tolerant, merciful, friendly to all living entities. He has no enemies. He is peaceful. He abides by the scripture, and all his characteristics are sublime. So when we associate with a sadhu, just like we all know, we have gone through colleges. Good student, you will have to associate with a good student. He will sit in the front desk. He will carefully observe what the professor is teaching. He will take notes. Whereas always there are the backbenchers also, correct? It is all like it is mentioned here. Time immemorial, it may go on like that. So they are not interested in studies. They just want to hang around, that's all. So, no, when you take to this path, so whether Prabhupada, that's why he is writing, whether a devotee or not, even if a non-devotee comes and stays in the association of a devotee, actually he can easily give up this bodily conception of life. So, this is a very important point, and Prabhupada again and again in many places he says, that's why we have created this ISKCON organization. It gives an opportunity for everyone. A child can come, a rich person can come, a poor person can come, an illiterate person can come, no problem. Anybody can come. They can have darshan, they can attend, hear bhajan, attend class if possible, like that. Similarly, Chanakya Pandit, in his Niti Shastra, Chanakya's, this thing also Prabhupada quotes in many places, he says, Tvaya Durjana Samsargam Bhaja Sadhu Samagamam. Four things he says. Renounce the company of evil-minded person. See, evil-minded person, non-devotee. Associate with saintly persons. Perform pious deeds both day and night. Throughout the day, we should perform only pious work. The highest pious work we know, Krishna conscious work. And remember always the temporary nature of this material world. See, sometimes everything may be so nice, even for a outsider, non-devotee also, according to his past karma. He may be living a very royal life, opulent life, nice family, nice children, nice bank balance, nice cars, all these things. But everything is temporary actually. That's what he says here. And remember always the temporary nature of the material world. Material world is temporary. Krishna himself certifies this in the Bhagavad Gita as Dukhalayam and Ashashvatam. If at all everything is so arranged according to a previous good deed, good karma, it can be gone in a moment's time. Because at death everything is leveled. Mrityu sarva haracha aham. That also Krishna says. So, like this, we should, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu also says, Asat Sangha Tyaga E Vaishnava Achar. We should give up the Sangha, Asat Sangha. Sat is a spiritual association and Asat is material association. And one who is too addicted to sense gratification and who is not a devotee of Krishna. Okay, we go and try to preach. We want everybody to become devotee. That's our Prabhupada's mission was that. We also try our bit. But if they are not becoming devotee, we just leave them actually. Because there are so many innocent souls waiting to become devotee. So we need not get into argument and sure scholarship. Not required actually. Somebody is sincere seeker, we can easily make out. And if he is willing to hear us, most of the time when we go and preach, they may ask some question. We may quote and we may try to preach. In between, they are so impatient, they'll ask one more question. Like that, they go on asking question. It happened during Prabhupada time also. So Prabhupada used to say, hey, listen first what I am saying. Hear first. like that. Prabhupada can stop, like we can't do that, but at least we can easily figure out if somebody is very sincere or not. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's instruction is also there. One who is too much addicted to sense gratification. So particularly Sri Sangha, the second line says, association with women. If somebody is attached to the opposite sex so much, we should not even associate with him also. Because that is, we'll get the same vibration. So we'll also fall a victim of sense gratification. Krishna also says in the Bhagavad Gita, Namam dushkritino muda prapadante naradama. The 4 types of people who will never surrender unto me. Correct? So Krishna says, those who are foolish, lowest of the mankind, and what are the other two? And Maya Pratajnana. He may be learned, but his knowledge has been stolen by illusion. So they can't partake in the devotional service of the Lord. So Krishna says this, because human life is meant for purification. Yesterday also we heard in the class, actually again and again this is also brought up. Because we are not meant for anything else. Because we are all in this bodily concept of life, and we are acting on behalf of our body, our extended body. So, human form of life, we should try to understand all these things. Tapo divyam putraka ena sattvam shuddhe desma brahma saukyam tamanantam. So that tapasya we should take. Only in the human form of life, we can take tapasya. Not the animals, we cannot give them some direction, instruction. No. Just like when we heard yesterday's evening talk, actually, when we hear Ramachandra's activities or Krishna's activities and the instruction what they are given, if we just try to follow, then actually we will get purified. So we are meant for that actually. So Prabhupada says, in the purport also today, highest success of life. Prabhupada again and again he writes, highest success, highest perfection. One is welcome to live in those holy places for the rest of the life in order to achieve the highest success by the very simple method of chanting the holy name of the Lord and taking prasadam. See, so sublime, so simple process our Krishna consciousness. Just like yesterday festival Rama Navami, we all fasted, and in the night we feasted nicely actually. We don't lose anything, correct? So Prabhupada also given based on the scriptures all these things. So little tapasya we have to take, little austerity. Like in the Vedic time, in the earlier days, they were performing very severe austerities. Just like we read in the Bhagavatam about Hiranyakashipu, all this, they have taken so much austerity. Otherwise, you can't get Shakti, you can't get power, potency. But in Kali Yuga, we are all very gullible. So Prabhupada has given a simple austerity. What is that? We follow 4 regulative principles, chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, try to attend our morning sadhana program. Just by doing this simple tapasya, if we take this simple tapasya, actually Prabhupada says we can achieve the highest success of life just by chanting the holy name of the Lord and taking prasadam. So nice process actually, correct? So anybody can take, because Padma Purana also says, we cannot otherwise understand God. We cannot understand the Supreme Lord. Atha Shri Krishna Nama Adi Nabhaved Graham Indriyai. Sevon Mukhe Jivado Swayameva Spurati Yadaha. So just by tongue we can see God. Yeah, that's what Shastra says. Sevon Mukhe Jivado. So Prabhupada mentioned this thing in the purport today. Tongue has got 2 functions. We have to talk, or we have to vibrate, or we have to speak. We just chant Krishna's name. We just discuss about Krishna philosophy. And tongue has got another function, to honor prasadam. So we don't eat boga, we partake prasada. So just by taking that, Sevonmukhe jivado swayam eva spurati adaha. Lord will reveal himself. Otherwise we cannot understand. Atha Sri Krishna Namadi, Krishna's name, form, quality, pastime, paraphernalia, we cannot understand by our scholarship. So the process is given that just chant and take prasadam. So like that, Prabhupada in one place he says, in Kali Yuga, we are so fallen and badly associated. It is very difficult to undergo severe austerity, perform elaborate yajna. There are so many difficulties. Just like in the previous ages, they were far, far well situated. So they could take up all these things. We cannot do all these things. So Prabhupada says there, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu has given us a concession. What is this? Chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra and achieve perfection. So like this, very nice, this association, all of Bhagavatam is nothing but association of devotees. And now in Bhagavatam, one more purport, Prabhupada very nicely writes. I'll just read this purport. Bhagavatam 1st canto, 13th chapter, 29th verse. How Dhritarashtra, we know a typical example in Mahabharata, how he tried so many ways and means to kill Pandavas. And he could not come to the throne because of he was blind. Prabhupada said Dhritarashtra was materially blind, spiritually also very blind. He didn't have any spiritual knowledge. So he thought, at least, why not my son become the emperor? So we know he plotted so many plans. Nothing worked. Finally, we know all the 100 sons died in the Mahabharata war. Still, he is not giving up this. He wants to still continue. That is the time actually when Vidura, his own brother, in the 1st canto of the Bhagavatam 13th chapter, he gives some very solid, actually very strong and harsh words he uses. Because brother, no, what is this? See, this to give up sense gratification is not easy. So he's somehow trying to wake him up. And then finally this verse very nicely, Prabhupada writes in the purport. So this 1st canto, 13th chapter, 29th verse. Thus Maharaj Dhritarashtra, the scion of the family of Ajamila, firmly convinced by introspective knowledge, prajna, broke at once the strong network of familial affection by his resolute determination. Thus he immediately left home to set out on a path of liberation as directed by his younger brother Vidura. See, this is what happens. Once the spiritual knowledge is awakened, it is right there in all of us. Right now it is in a sleeping mode. See, we have kept all the mobile in a silent mode. If it rings, we will not come to know easily. So we are all sleeping actually. So when we get this knowledge, immediately just here you see, here Ajamila also, when he was enlightened, he just started going towards Haridwar. So here it is mentioned, the purport Prabhupada writes, Lord Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the great preacher of the principles of Srimad-Bhagavatam, has stressed the importance of association with sadhus, pure devotees of the Lord. He said that even by a moment's association with a pure devotee, one can achieve all perfection. So you just imagine what is due for us. We are all just carrying on Srila Prabhupada's association. We are carrying on his instruction. Vani Seva and Vapu Seva. So we are very fortunate to get his instructions. Everything is available today. Correct? So Prabhupada here he writes, can achieve all perfection again with the moment's association. Then he writes his own example. We are not ashamed to admit that this fact was experienced in our practical life. Were we not favored by Divine Guest Srimad Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Goswami Maharaj, by our first meeting for a few minutes only. Prabhupada met for very few minutes, his spiritual master. It would have been impossible for us to accept a mighty task of describing Srimad-Bhagavatam in English. So later on, see, we are able to get this just by the moment association. Without seeing him at that opportune moment, we could have become a very great business magnate, but never would have been able to walk the path of liberation and be engaged in the factual service of the Lord under the instruction of His divine grace. Actually, Prabhupada's in other places also he mentioned that his chart, his horoscope also mentioned he could have been a big businessman. That's why Prabhupada is writing it. He could have become a big business magnate. People are so working hard. They want to amass wealth. They want to be number one everywhere, correct? So ultimately everything will be gone. Because these are all temporary things. Then Prabhupada writes here. And here is another practical example by the action of Vidura's association with Dhritarashtra. Maharaj Dhritarashtra was tightly bound in a network of material affinities related to politics, economy, and family attachment. See, all these things are very difficult to give up. And he did everything in his power to achieve so-called success in his planned projects. But he was frustrated from the beginning to the end, so far as his material activities were concerned. And yet, despite his life of failure, he achieved greatest of all success in self-realization by the forceful instruction of a pure devotee of the Lord, who is a typical emblem of a sadhu. So we know how that chapter elaborately explains. Just when he got this, immediately he walked off. So this is what a sadhu, a devotee, Prabhupada explains sadhu means a devotee, a Vaishnava. Just by preaching, just by speaking what Krishna has spoken in the Bhagavad Gita, actually can give this transcendental knowledge to others. That anybody can do in ISKCON actually. Because we have nice books of Srila Prabhupada, we have association, we just have to repeat this thing. That's why Prabhupada says it's not the scholarship it's going to help us. No, all these things will be done when we are going to leave this body. That's why Krishna says, Prabhupada says, correct? Mamupeta punarjanma dukhalem ashashvatam. Napnuvanti mahatmana samsiddhim paramam gata. The creator, Prabhupada writes actually in a play, the creator of the world is certifying that material world is a place of misery. Only the creator knows what is that. Only the manufacturer of a product knows the full end of the product, correct, from beginning to end. So creator of this world is saying it's dukhalyam. And we are trying to get sukha in this world. It is not possible. So you want to, Prabhupada right there, you want to be comfortable, you want to have good bank balance, good family. No, it will not be allowed. We can't stay here. So these are the striking realities. It is all given in the Bhagavad Gita, again brought out in the Bhagavatam by this strong instruction of these pure devotees. So when we just hear, when we read, when we chant these things, actually we get purified. We will not be knowing also. That's why we read in the earlier verses also, Prabhupada says, if you see our own life, how we were before coming in touch with Krishna consciousness and how we are now, there is some improvement is there. Correct? And the improvement will be fast if we strictly follow what Srila Prabhupada has given us actually. We need not invent anything. We have to just follow the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, and we can also achieve this highest. And because Prabhupada writes in the purport, in the next small purport also, Prabhupada writes, the devotees who have joined the Krishna conscious movement may live comfortably in our many temples. So we are, everything is comfort, correct? Everything, just like we hear here. Now after the Bhagavatam class, you go readily, that prasadam is ready there. Not easily, it's not automatically coming. Some devotees are slogging there, doing that service, it will be ready. So these comforts have been provided to us. So we follow this, and then Prabhupada writes, comfortably in our mini temple and engage in the devotional service of the Lord. This is very important. So if all these arrangements have been made, we should try to engage in whatever prescribed duty, whatever we have been allotted to do. Thus, they can control the mind and senses and achieve the highest success of life. See, last purport also Prabhupada writes, highest success of life is chanting and taking prasadam. Here also Prabhupada says, achieve the highest success of life. And this is the process descending from time immemorial. It's not now new. It's not something invented new. It is coming down from time immemorial. Learning from the life of Ajamila, we should vow with determination to do what is necessary to follow this path. So nice instructions, Srila Prabhupada's. So I'll stop here. Vantara Srimad-Bhagavatam ki, Srila Prabhupada ki.